Holla ballers and a bro fist to you all! It is once again Friday, 4 PM UK time, and that means it's time for drama, where we have had a tremendous week. We completed our final of the single-player entries into Final Fantasy, the main series. Spin-offs are coming after FF7 Rebirth, and began our journey of torment and misery, and happiness and joy, and rolling dice in Darkest Dungeon, which was going very well. And it's important to remember that sometimes, as it says down below, things can go wrong, and that's okay. It's not your fault. Sometimes the dice roll against you, you know? You've got all the skill in the world, and sometimes you just can't beat a bad dice roll. That's just the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the beast, and you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. You should be focused and get itself sorted. That's all it's about, and you can repair any bad situation, and we will be doing that on Monday. But most importantly, of course, to our listeners out there, it's 4 PM here, but at 8 PM tomorrow, on Saturday, the 4th of May, PreachCon 2024 tickets will be live and available to be picked up, and it's a 2-day event this year. It's going to be awesome. 5-player gaming tournaments. You can sign up once you've got your ticket and you know you're coming. You can get signed up with your friends. You can meet new people. We'll have cosplay competitions. We're going to have all kinds of stuff going on, including meeting your favorite content creators. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. So getting to meet you guys is one of the highlights of the year. And I look forward very much to seeing you here in Manchester for the event. It should be fantastic. But it's not why you're here right now. You're here because across the world, across the online universe that we occupy, there are crazy people hiding behind those keyboards, and they do things that they would never do in the real world, and they do all sorts of strange things, and we'd love to hear about it, not only as entertainment, but also as a little warning to people who might be in similar situations, and that is drama time. And everybody listening to this has a story to tell. You've already all experienced something somewhere that's happened, and you can send it to us at drama@preachgaming.com. We would love to hear from you. When you sat on the toilet, type us out an email. And get us going with what you've got to do. I see one here with an obsessive-compulsive FF14 player, which I know is hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe, but I see it right in front of my eyes that this is a thing. The Chocobo Quest. Was it a quest? I can't even remember anymore. I don't think so. Chocobo Quest. No names required, so I'll put it there. I'll put it right there. I missed you too. I am back from vacation. It has been fun. Okay, let's see what this obsessive-compulsive player got up with. Mikey! Guess where I'm from? Lithuania. I am from Team Bulgaria. Okay. I'm a long time listener to your show, and let me start like this and see where we go from here. I play a Lala, so go fuck yourself, you elitist dickhead. Look, the fact that you have to go on the defensive says a lot, doesn't it? Doesn't it say more about you than it does about me, that you had to go on the defensive? And we will, of course, have live on-stage drama time at PreachCon with actors. I'm not the one who got a chair and got upset. Just gonna put that out there. Like, getting upset at a pixel chair, just some polygons of a chair. It's kind of sad when you think about it. It's kind of sad that you would get all riled up because of a little chair, a very little baby, it's like very small chair. I mean, that's just on you. I love cute little things. I play Lily in Heroes of the Storm. I don't know who that is. I play Ratoska in Smite, Lulu and Nar in League of Legends when I used to play that toxic garbage, and I always pick the smidgiest, tiniest characters I can find. Aww. Stamp. Now you know who I am. Let me start by saying that at first, I stared at my character creation screen, and there was the Lalafell. The beautiful, budding little potato. But there was also Catgirls. And I'm sad to say that I went against my better judgment and chose the Catgirl. And you know why. I do. I wish I didn't, but I do. I do. I played that thing for a whole year. Of course you did. Well, didn't you mix into the crowd? You were very unique. Let's put it that way. Very unique. But I couldn't resist the emotes and the animations of a Lala. Every time I saw a Lala wah, I would feel a bit depressed inside. Like I had made the biggest mistake of my life. And so I had to re-roll to a cute little female Lala Black Mage. And I refused to change. I have played since the start of A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward all the way till now, and I have replayed them. I have done A Realm Reborn fresh twice. I mean, Fantasia's not that expensive. Like if you go time versus earnings, Fantasia just ain't that bad, you know, and you don't need to worry about it. But Mike, you might wonder why I didn't Fantasia. Yeah, I did wonder that actually. It's because I needed to see my Lala in all the cutscenes. Oh, fuck off. You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Just to... If you Fantasia, though, and you use the book, can't you just watch the cutscenes with your character in them? And spare yourself the torment of playing A Realm Reborn? Yeah, you could just go to the inn and watch... You noob. What a noob. I'm currently 35 years old, and I tell you now I'm old school. All right. Still a kid in my eyes. I started my gaming career with StarCraft, Diablo 2, Warcraft 3, Half-Life, Heroes 3, Age of Empires, Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, and so on and so forth. I was right there when World of Warcraft was about to launch, already knowing all the lore, and you should too, because the old lore is really good. You are really pissing me off. Just going to put it out there. I will not be educated on World of Warcraft lore by a Lalafell. There are lines I will not cross. I'm just telling you now. I'm just telling you now you're starting to piss me off. There are certain limits to what I will tolerate in my own house, alright? The problem was, Mike, and you can laugh at me now, I am poor. Ha! I grew up poor, and I was poor for a long time. And I didn't have the money to play on the official Blizzard servers. To this day, I have never played retail WoW outside of the free trial. I have only ever played on private servers. Sucks. But like a lot of people, I quit after Wrath, and like almost no one came back in MOP because the servers were gank, and pandas are really cute, which is why I might have played, but the lore of pandas didn't sit well with me. Okay. Mike, at that time, the private servers for Wrath, after Wrath, were dog shit. If you're interested, I can write you some tales about the really early private servers, because I haven't heard anything like what I've experienced on them on Drama Time, and I guarantee you'll have a giggle. Don't ask, just do. And at the very least, learn what it was like for the real pause back then. Yeah, send me your Oliver Twist stories. We won't laugh. Enough backstory about me and my cutesy ways. Let me take you on my starting journey in FF14, where this entire tale revolves. I began the game as the free trial when they extended it to include the critically acclaimed blah blah blah, Heaven's Ward. I will point out to my live audience that they have written blah blah blah, not me. I will do a quick control paste before someone gets... Oh my god, it does that fucking cute face, Jesus Christ. And it was roughly a year before you started gaming in it. I think I saw an ad on the internet and thought, isn't this that shitty game that was so bad they closed it? I don't know how... I didn't know they had relaunched it, so I was absolutely blind when I started gaming, and I had a blast learning everything from the bottom up. The way I played, having come from WoW, was as follows. You might think this author was trying to piss me off. Well, listeners and watchers, get ready. Before installing the game, I watched as many guides and lore guides as I could possibly find. I watched videos upon videos of all the story. I watched many videos on all the classes and subclasses, and I watched a guide on every single dungeon. I watched guides on everything I could find on Final Fantasy XIV, including interacting with other people, even the simple starter dungeons. I didn't want to waste people's time. I wanted to play as prepared as I could possibly be. Good job. Good job. Good job. Guilty, guilty, guilty. But in time, I have learned that doing things blind is very fun, and most people are forgiving when they see that lovely sprout icon over your head. This is actually a question for my live audience. If they introduced some sort of sprout icon to World of Warcraft, what do you think the reaction to them would be? If they indicated a very clear visual icon telling people you were a noob. There is one. What is it? I've never seen it, I don't think. There is one? I need to see a picture of this. If I Google this, can I find this? Wow. Sprout icon? What's it called? /kick and /spit. New players have a murloc over them. What? Oh my god, it's actually a thing. I have never seen this in game, ever. I have never seen this. There is some sort of weird murloc icon that goes over players' heads. It is now my mission to see this icon. I have never seen it in my life. Never. And I was on retail the other day. I have never seen that. Never seen it. Okay. Okay. Mike, I'm one of those players that are like, hey, at the start and GG at the end of the dungeon. I never say anything in between. I don't like talking a lot. I get kind of anxious and shy. I'm also a person who likes to try everything in a game and in a chronological order if it could be done that way. Alright, that's fine. Back then I had no idea that Player Finder existed, and even when I learned of it, I didn't know that free trials can actually use the Player Finder. Again, my brain was melted with WoW toxicity. You didn't even play retail? What are you talking? You're claiming a lot of veteran status here for someone who didn't play retail, right? You're coming with your private server experience and trying to work it in like some old bitter general that used to fight in Vietnam or some shit. They just can't create those groups. So when it came to extreme trials, I just used the normal dungeon finder and queued for them. Okay. Now, I imagine I got a lot of mentors angry by doing that because most of them would usually either just leave on the spot or start yelling to use Player Finder for extremes and unsync them. This made me start hating mentors. High five. High five. They're the memers anyway. But I was on a free trial, and in my mind, I couldn't use Player Finder. So what usually happened is that I would end up in a group of sprouts, eager to learn and clear the trial. And since I watched the guides on everything before I did it, I would raid lead them after a few blind pulls to get them through it. Mike, it was a ton of fun to play this way. We would wipe, try again, make some progress, wipe, try again, but at the end we would clear and everyone was nice and awesome. And I cleared all of A Realm Reborn in Heavensward playing this way. That's fair. I then thought, in a fit of overwhelming confidence, that I could do this in coils as well. Okay. This will be fine. I sat in the queue for hours. No one was queuing up for coils. I could just not find a single group. I sat for hours and hours and hours. So I decided to make a plan. I started queuing for roulettes. And at the end of the roulette, I would ask people if they wanted to do coils. As soon as the last boss died, I would paste my message into the chat. This did not go well. But somebody kept reappearing in my roulettes, and it wasn't long before that person offered to just take me through coils to see the story. What a gent. Dude, stop spamming this message. I will literally run your ass through coils right now. For the love of fucking Christ, stop spamming this message at the end of all these roulettes. I'll just run you through it. You can see what's going on. I totally get this guy. Although in truth, I just wanted to beat Twintania and nothing more at that point. You'll see why in a moment. But that awesome person did run me through all of coils and even said they would wait for me while I watched the cutscenes. Me being who I am and not wanting to waste their time, started skipping the cutscenes to avoid giving them hassle. I knew in my mind I could just watch them on YouTube if needs be. I later learned I could watch them in the inn and see my character in them. Ugh. I don't know, I can't remember that person's name, but they were very kind, and they made me a believer of all the rumors about FF14's beautiful, wonderful community. They are gems, aren't they? As long as you'd get chairs. The reason I did start really doing the extremes and coils is because when I started the game, I expected to have only one mount. The classic, of course, FF Chocobo. I was fine with that. Imagine my surprise, ladies and gentlemen, when I saw people riding all kinds of crazy things. I didn't need other mounts, but when I saw that you could dress up your Chocobo with bardings, that was my jam. That was the start of my big quest for the Ice and Levin bardings. I will admit, I'm a total noob here. I barely ever see my Chocobo. I think I dressed it up once because somebody gave me something or I got some sort of quest reward, but that's really about it. I don't even know why these two things specifically. I probably liked how they looked at the time, but both of them needed some rare drops from Extreme Ramu and Shiva, and the Ice Barding also needed a drop from Twintania. So, I leveled every single crafting and gathering job to 60, not using the diadem because I didn't know it existed at the time. Okay. Although the bardings only needed level 50, but 60 was the max for me back then, and it was easier to craft stuff, so why not? Oh, sweet Jesus. And I also learned how to do the extremes just so I can get some Chocobo bardings. I got the drop from Twintania when the cat boy, whose name I can't remember, I'm really, really sorry, carried me through it. I got the drop from Shiva legit just by doing the trial a lot, and since people really didn't like Ramu was the best extreme, and didn't want to do it sync, I found some nice helpful people who helped me do unsynced runs until I got the item for my barding. This was all on my Catgirl character. And after that, I made my awesome Lala. And did it all again. I leveled every available job to 60. I got all of Heaven's Ward's relics and a Realm Reborn relics. I met great people and some not so great people, which then tainted my view of FF14. But overall, I finally subscribed because of the community. And yes, the end of the Heaven's Ward story was not enough to make my poor stingy ass subscribe. It was a pretty good story, but I watched it all on YouTube before I played it, so I wasn't as invested. Your story is just really upsetting. Your story is just so upsetting. It's just genuinely just like really upsetting to hear, right? This is what you did. I'm glad I did subscribe though, because it turned out that Shadowbringers was decent and Endwalker was fantastic. Shadowbringers is decent. Did I do something to you at some point? Did I hurt you? Did you fall down at some point? Shadowbringers is pretty decent, guys. It's decent. It's alright. Mike, today I am no longer a Sprout. I've done all the extreme trials on minimum item level and Stormblood and half of Shadowbringers. Min item level coils and 1 Savage coil. Min item level Savage Alexander up to A8 and Uwu. I have some little tales I can share about some drama and casuals thinking they're hardcore throughout my little raiding journey. And I'll share with them in the future. I hope you enjoyed my baby steps into Eorzea. And yes, I just want you to know, I am sorry. I know I shouldn't have skipped. But it's World of Warcraft's fault, not mine. I came from a different place, and it is what it is, and I can't take it back. Be well and happy. I wish you all the best. I made a little video. It has a few inconsistencies I made like half a year ago, but the fact is I hope you enjoy it, and I will link that in the chat now of the quest for the barding. Apparently to Bex, it's totally safe. Blaming WoW, SMH, SMH. Toxic World of Warcraft. How terrible. Oh, okay. Let's go to story number 2 here. Oh, is there someone actually asking me for help? Not something we usually do on Drama Time, but I see the story is very short. Sure. I can maybe maybe help. Okay. If I can't help, the chat certainly can. The chat certainly can. No help. Yeah, they're very helpful. My audience is super helpful people. Super helpful. They like it when everything goes smoothly and efficiently and they pre-warn you of problems. It's all good. Mikey, Bex, of course the chat. I come to you humbled and in need of help. Who are we in the PG community, my friends, not to extend a wide peepo hug to wonderful people? Mikey, I want to write you a short little story. It's about WoW. I hadn't played since Castle Nathria, and I decided to scratch that itchy itch once more. I had some free time, I had some free money. In retrospect, it was pretty funny, so I wrote you this tale. I logged into my little female gnome lock. Having pressed the welcome back button, I then spent half an hour sorting out the mountain of bullshit mail that this generated. Rookie mistake. I got my UI to a state that was usable, of course, before ever engaging with an enemy. The new built-in UI is great, but oh my fucking god, how does it not have weak auras in game yet? I then discovered that I had, in my wisdom, saved my old UI. I thought, yay. So I reinstalled it, not yay. There was errors all over the place, and so I needed to update. It had now been 2 hours since I had reinstalled the game, and I had yet to attack a monster. I discover my guild has died, not a surprise. I had somewhat expected that. Sidebar though, I joined and left roughly 6 guilds trying to find the one that actually spoke. The leveling was fun. I enjoyed myself. I made myself to max level. Why didn't I use the boost? Well, I thought skipping was for pause, and I wanted to experience the leveling in Dragonflight at least once. Can you... No way. Can you skip past Dragonflight now? Surely not. Can you just skip straight to max level? Yes? I thought they only did that when the expansion pre-patch came out, that you could do that. You can instantly just bypass. Oh, because the War Within pre-orders are available to use now. Okay, so you bought the War Within then. That's what I didn't expect. That's what I'm not piecing together. You've already bought the War Within. Interesting. Metzen says, come on home. So you came on home. Okay. Once I got max level, I was now faced with a city I didn't really like, Valdrakken. Not so bad, but there are a lot of quests on the map all the time. So what should I do with myself? My lifestyle means that while I love raiding, regular raiding isn't an option. However, I knew I wanted to see a Madrasil. Curse you for that amazing Race to World First. It was good. So LFR was my goal. I looked at the sign up. 424 item level, I was 380. Wait, you literally capped and then tried to queue the LFR? Like, immediately. There was just no pause, there was no dungeons, nothing. You were just like, okay, I've level capped, immediately must start raiding in the LFR. Fair enough. I remembered Wowhead. This would help me out. I found a quest to unlock the Emerald Dream, and off I went. I'm a huge fan. That's interesting. They didn't give you the quest to go to the Emerald Dream, or you couldn't find it? How many players get lost in the late game when they return, and it's just shit everywhere, and like, I have no idea what any of this is. And the game isn't really clear about where you should probably go, where the big latest catch-up is. It's just a whole bunch of stuff, and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I have no idea. There's a whole bunch of crap to do, and I haven't got a clue on it. I love Druid lore. So I played the shit out of my Druidin Legion. I love this place. I figure out, because for some reason I develop amnesia, which makes me forget about Wowhead every time this would have been useful, that seeds are good. So I spend the next 2 days flying around the Emerald Dream looking for seeds. I'm so depressed by your gaming experience. You bought War Within. You leveled the character through Dragonflight. You tried to queue the LFR and couldn't. So you wow-headed what the latest catch-up was. You went there and just started doing laps looking for seeds. This is like the first 3 days of your return to the game, and you're just circling around looking for seeds. I, of course, tried out some of the events that were in Dragonflight, realized they're a complete waste of time now, and ditto is the old LFR, so I abandoned them quickly. Blizzard, are you watching? This is what's happening, man. Are you watching There needs to be... It's got to be better. It's got to be better. Now, I'm not a noob, so I know dungeons are probably a good idea. But every time I mouse over the looking for dungeon button, I start having a panic attack remembering what people are like in dungeons. Not that bad. It's really not that bad. Jesus, it ain't that bad. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. What's the worst that can happen is they kick you. Nothing, and that's fine. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's not like someone comes and knocks at your door. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's totally okay. Nothing bad will happen to you. You'll be fine. You'll get out of bed in the morning. You'll be okay. I had horrible, horrible experiences in Battle for Azeroth. And it happened again in the Shadowlands. And while I did do tons of dungeons, I only played them with guildies who I no longer play. I can't bring myself to try heroic. I know it's going to be a nightmare. Jesus Christ, what happened to you? Just to be clear, if you feel this way, go and watch my old guides. They're all very relevant to how you do dungeons today. It's all the same. They've never changed. But wait. I'm saved. Blizzard has introduced follower dungeons. So I do those, and the rewards are a complete waste of time. At least I cleared my quest log. But it is time walking week, and I've done those dungeons, so I do time walking. And between that and the Emerald Dream Quest line, plus a well-timed Super Bloom, ladies and gentlemen, I had unlocked the queue for LFR. Round of applause. Game over. Game over. Job done. I can go to the LFR. I am shocked that we cleared the LFR in one go. Really? There is an epic moment on the fiery lava lake guy when the whole platform is engulfed in flame and only 3 people are left. You hit the enrage on the lava worm in LFR. What in the actual living Christ? Oh my god. I mean, is that even, like, possible? That's insane. We still killed it. And it's not too bad. I end up getting 2 items and I'm delighted with my experience. I remember Wowhead again and discover crafting and lose hope when I see the monumental task in front of me. It's now 7 days later when I decide to play WoW again. You literally just did LFR and logged out for the week. And I have had an epiphany while I'm not playing. I could buy a boost through a heroic raid. Oh, go and fucking... You've played for 4 days. You've collected seeds for 2 of them. You went to LFR from time walking. And your next step is just to buy heroic. Just to be clear again, I don't know when this story was written or when it was sent to us. Oh, you're here. You're in the chat. Okay, Dwinky. You're aware of seasonal WoW, right, Dwinky? You're here. The author is in the chat. You're aware that... I mean, what are you hoping to get? Can you tell me what your hope was to get out of the heroic raid? Was it just items? I know they're not expensive. I get it. I know they're not expensive. But is it just loot? Is that what you were hoping to get? Because it does look the same as LFR, certainly on heroic. Ahead of the curve. Okay, were you buying the achievement or were you after loot? What were you after? I'm very curious. Was there an item, a sword, something? I don't know. Are you playing a druid or whatever? I don't know. Lego? I was so afraid I just didn't know how to get started. Okay. Okay. Alright. It's unusual that the author is here, so I'm not going to hold back, though. But I think you know that. I have tons of gold from the last time I played. I have no guild. I have no time, so what the heck? Alright. Mike, I have never, ever paid for a boost before in my life. I've always been in ahead of the curve early mid-mythic guilds that cleared pretty quick. So in my mind, this might be a fun new experience. How? Fuck off. How is this going to be fun? Do you know... I don't know if you've ever been in a boost guild. I have. Do you know what boosters think of the people paying for boosts? Plot twist, it's not great. This might come as an extreme shock, but it's not great. It's not sucker. No, we don't think sucker. We're just like, don't speak. Please do everything we tell you, and just, it would be so much better for us if you just didn't exist and just were a pile of gold. Honestly. It would be so much better. I'm not bothered by loot. I just want to see what heroic is like and give myself a leg up into normal pugs when I feel ready. Okay, you are asking for help. First of all, this is a really bad way of doing this in general. Other guilds that are clearing heroic for fun are not going to show you anything. You're not even going to pick up on barely any of the mechanics because you're not going to be involved in them. Besides things that hit on the floor or whatever, you're not going to understand what anybody else in the raid is doing at all. You would get far more benefit from either watching a guide on YouTube or watching one of Max's blind raids, because he has to tell them what to do, even though it's usually mythic or whatever. But he does a lot of heroic ones too. You would get far more benefit out of that and just listening to what a raid leader is telling people to do and how to position. That would save your gold. That would be much better. You'll feel more confident that way. It's an experience, Mike. It's an experience. There are 4 warlocks, including myself, getting boosted. Oh, so you're playing a lock. Oh, of course, you said, yeah, you know warlock. So I quickly realized that I should just focus on not dying. That's exactly my point. Like, you're not going to pay. You're just going to be looking around for things that are about to kill you. The first 3 bosses, I do pretty well, to be honest. I think I understand what's going on, and I'm feeling like, you know what? I'm still a gamer. I can still do this. I've still got skills. The muscles still exist in the hands, and I can get this done. I fall in love with the duck boss. Oh, kick. Just get kicked out of the group. Don't tell anybody. Right? That's like having some weird fetish. Like, sure, it's fine, but don't tell anybody. Just keep it quiet. Right? Just don't tell anybody. Just, you do your thing. You do your thing. Just don't tell anybody else. Universally considered some of the most boring boss ever. Everything goes horrifically wrong. Oh, wow, gamers. Which boss did it all fall apart on in a heroic boost? Which boss did they all fall apart on when it came to the heroic boost? Which one was it that was like, hold? Not Larry, not Smoldy. Now, Smoldy's pretty forgiving on heroic. You can get away with some shit with a boost with heroic. Nimue? No. Interesting. No one said it. It was T-Swift. T-Swift. It all went horrifically wrong on Tindril Sage Swift. But they did kill it. And I somehow win rolls for both the staff and the trinket. I then checked the trinket name on Wowhead because somebody was whispering me about it and found out I had casually got the BIS trinket. Doesn't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is. Yay, I win. Huh. Good luck, good job me. Farak was an absolute circus. I stayed alive until phase 3 when we were advised to run and kill ourselves. And I finished the run feeling good about myself as a gamer. He went and committed suicide and came away like that. Nailed it. As long as you do that in any other pugs, as soon as you get to the final phase, just run and yeet yourself off the edge or whatever, you know. Yeah, and then just be like, oh, well, this is fine. This is what I do. I was feeling so confident that I decided to go straight to Mythic Plus. You did say you wouldn't go into Heroic, right? You did say you were afraid of going to Heroic. This is a hell of a confidence boost that you picked up from a Heroic raid boost that you paid for. It does feel a little unearned, if I'm being honest with you. It feels a touch unearned. In my mind, surely a +2 wouldn't be too traumatic. In a weird, interesting way, I am accepted to the very first one that I signed up for. It was a Tal Dazar. I remember a Tal Dazar. I played then, so I chose that. It starts well. I'm actually top of the damage meter. I'm doing CC. As we get to the first boss, the healer DCs. Mike, it's been 2 weeks and I have not signed up for a Mythic Plus since. Why? Do you think he DC'd because of you? Do you think he alt F4'd because of this damage topping CCing Warlock? Why? It's why I feel so lost. I'm so damned afraid of Mythic Plus, and it's why I'm not sure if I'll keep playing Dragonflight. Any advice? Yeah, it's nothing to do with you. It's fine. Look, let's face facts here. Mythic Plus without an organized group is a little like dingling your dick in a Shark Tank. Might be fine. Everything could work out. In fact, it might be fine 9 times out of 10. Could be fine. But 1 time out of 10, you're going to lose your dick. And that's just the nature of it. That's the nature of it. And it's okay. And the advice I have to anybody in any MMO who's afraid of doing something is nothing can go wrong that's actually meaningful in any way, shape, or form. It can't. And you can't just stare at what... worst thing you could do, there's a couple of things you could do wrong, certainly when it comes to Mythic Plus, is watching Gingy and Co. Your team is not going to play anything like them, like, at all. In any way, shape. Watching, like, the Echo teams or any of the MDI teams is an utter fucking befuddlement. And in most cases, you're going to try and think that that's the way all dungeons go, and they don't. For the most part, Pug Mythic Plus is pull in a certain route, AoE it down, interrupt certain mobs, and 9 times out of 10, you'll be fine. So, never be afraid. The worst that can happen, genuinely, is that you get removed or your group falls apart. And the worst thing that's really happened is a bit of wasted time. You never meet the same people in Mythic Plus or anything. Don't blame yourself for everything. Often, it's hard. And if you ever really, really struggle, send me the clip. I'll watch it. I'll watch it, and I'll see if there's something maybe you did do that's like, okay, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that, right? Something along those lines. I will gladly help you out, because no one should be afraid to get into dungeons in MMOs. They're totally fine. Nothing bad will happen to you. It's all fine. Jump in head first is what I do recommend this. Jump in head first and realize it's all fine. For the most part, if you just do some damage, do your bit, you'll be fine. You'll be totally fine. And I will do what I can to help you. But genuinely speaking, I made hundreds of videos on this stuff in the past. And it's still all relevant today. The rules of the game have not changed. The look of the dungeon and like what spells they cast might have changed, but everything else is identical. Like how you conduct yourself, how you figure out what to do. It's all still exactly the same. It's the same reason I can still cast the Race to World first and do all that analysis and all that kind of stuff. I believe this is going to be Persephone. Yeah. So we want to get rid of that. Persephone. Lovely name. Love the name Persephone. I sent footage. You'd see I have a clown UI and a click. You might not know this. You got the 38 months. Before even 38 months, I did the workshop. I have seen and dealt with many of the worst UIs imaginable. And it's fine. I can read the UI like a book. It's totally fine. I don't give a shit if you play with a weird UI. It's totally fine. Absolutely fine. And I can also do it off stream. I really don't mind. You send it me off stream. Send it to Bex at the drama email. I'll look at it off stream and I'll send you a message. No problem at all. Alright. Cards, caps, and chaos. Not sure what game this is. We might be heading down a new and interesting path, which is fully welcome here on Drama Time. Preacher and the chat! To begin, I have some points to make. First, if the lovely Bex decides to put this story forward, this will be my 3rd time repping in Drama Time over the years, okay? And hilariously, every time I write one of these, I remember another story that's happened to me. To jog your memory, remember a house with a dude and a gross blanket? That was the previous story of mine. I don't remember that. I probably buried that memory. Second, I want you to look at this image. I want you to look at it long, look at it hard, and show it to the chat, and then hold a moment. Because it will reveal where we are. Okay, I need to zoom in a bit. Okay, chat. This thing. This looks like a Terraria icon to me. I have no idea what this icon is. For our audio listeners, it looks like a blanket or a magic carpet or something like that, but very pixelated, like an 8-bit. Chat is saying Ragnarok Online. Ragnarok Online, okay. Some of your chat will definitely know what this is because they're the biggest collection of varied MMO gamers that I know of. High fives, chat. For those of you who do not know, allow me to explain how this pixelated card, oh, it's a card, was the bane of every Ragnarok Online player's experience and their existence for the entirety of their time in that grindy hellscape of a nightmare. And by God, do I miss it. Is there a game you guys miss that you know is objectively, like, just a massive waste of time? I kind of miss Command & Conquer Generals, just playing maps over and over again in Generals against the AI. I must have put in 2,000-3,000 hours playing an AI I couldn't possibly lose to in just Command & Conquer Generals over and over again. Just never getting anywhere. Just winning, making a cool base, doing it again. Doing it again. EverQuest, Lost Ark. No one will notice the money is missing. Oh, yeah. XCOM. XCOM's probably a pretty good one. XCOM could be a satisfying gaming experience, I imagine, on every mod, with all the mods and stuff. But Command & Conquer, I didn't even mod. I just played General 0 Hour over and over again against the AI. Just always... I would beat them till they had one building left, and then I would build a wall around their building, and then I would just build a base all over the map. Absolutely pointless, but I would do it for hours and hours on end. This is the way I did it. So I would build roads. I did it in the original Command & Conquer as well. I would build walls that were roads for my harvesters that led to the Tiberium fields. So they would have very specific roads to go down. And if they deviated from the road or got stuck, I got genuinely like really angry because I'd built them a really neat, smooth road to go down. Anyway. God, I can't do that shit anymore because I'm a streamer mostly. I don't get to just waste time in games. We must be pushing forward all the time. I do miss it a little bit. For context, for all your audience listeners, what is this card? Well, it could be several things, you see. Every monster in the game drops a card. Is this like Triple Triad? Usually a rate of 0.01% drop chance. Fuck right off. Gearing in Ragnarok Online kind of went like this in the early days. You would start, of course, your character with the basic vendor garbage we're all used to in any MMO. Eventually, you would get somewhat decent vendor garbage. As you rolled along, you would find cards and other items like above and generally sell them while AFK on your merchant alt. Okay, so they had a player-run economy, I guess. For context, here's what the main city, Prontera, often looked like. No way. Okay, chat, help me. How do I describe this to our audio listener? There is what looks to be Habbo Hotel. Is what I would guess this looks like to me. It's got little like spritey icons, and every single person has a chat bubble over their head. This is Yoshi P's living nightmare, is what I'm looking at, and everybody is selling something. Want to sell. Want to sell, want to sell, want to sell. Some people seemingly trying to swear, but there's some sort of like profanity filter in place. Neo Bunny Band is going on. It's not a chat bubble, it's a shop. Okay, so they look like chat bubbles for our audio listeners. I'm talking about 100 of them all overlapping. And apparently they're all just shops. Player shops. Okay. That's the wrong button. Let's click the right one. Now, Mike, this is not my screenshot, but this is what Prontera looked like. Each one of these is a real person's vendor while they're watching anime. Okay, this is why I've not played Ragnarok Online, obviously. I didn't go down the anime route, so I was not welcome. Zenny, the main currency of the game, was found by killing monsters and vendoring whatever trash they dropped. Nothing ever sold for very much. A basic jalopy was 1 zenny. A much more difficult red batwing was like 40 maybe. Even the high-end monsters in the game rarely dropped much worth more than, say, 200 zennies. Now, the vendor gear you had. Now that vendor gear you had, a set of full plate armor, for instance, would sell in a shop for 80,000 zenny. Or roughly thereabouts. What a shit game. The issue here was, it was useless after a certain point not far into your journey. You needed a slotted version which dropped from difficult monsters. The type that were not rarely soloable. So you would have to find a player vendor. As a tank knight spec'd into one-handed spears, pikes were the only one during this time. These are the things that I needed. I needed the slotted helm, which was 3 million zenny. The slotted armor, which was about 5 million zenny. Multiple upgraded 4-slot pikes. Those weren't too bad. I needed 4 different slotted shields, which were anyway from 3 to 500,000 zenny each, depending on the day. And it would go on and on and on to gear your character. On top of this, the slots weren't for gems, they were for cards. So the cards that drop from monsters are stat bonuses, I'm assuming. So like one card is like +4 strength or some shit or something like that. I'm guessing any Ragnarok Online players, that's what it sounds like, is the cards. And you probably need the high level cards because they have blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yes. Confirmed by the chat. That is pretty much what we're talking about. Okay. And the cards were crazy pricey. The one in question today, the one I've shown you on this picture, is a +6 immune Monto. A cape style piece of gear. The +6 is the upgrade level, which going above +4 in an upgrade gave you a high chance of outright breaking the item. The immune prefix came from a card from a monster called a Redrick, a ghostly suit of armor with a big-ass sword. These were brutal, brutal monsters in a zone called Glastheim, who would easily destroy a solo knight. Now, Mike, why did I care? Why do I want this? It was Biss. Yeah. You didn't need to tell me. You didn't need to tell me. Why am I doing this? Why am I going to all this trouble? Why am I doing all these things? Well, because it's Biss. And that's all anybody listening to this needs to know. It's Biss. It gave you an additional 20% damage reduction modifier to neutral attacks, meaning most auto attacks in the game, which were a massive source of the damage from most of the monsters and bosses. And the bosses were called MVPs, okay? This would also allow me to stack damage reduction. 30% in those days, if I recall, versus a specific race, which you could slot via cards into a shield. Humanoid, beast, it didn't matter. You needed multiple variations. But that immune prefix, it just worked globally, baby. It just worked. Now, my friends listening now, as we get to the drama, to buy this item, and this is just off the top of my head, and the market conditions can obviously change at the time, 2 to 3 slotted Montos for upgrading, 1 to 2 million each. You're going to break at least one of the items, let's be honest. The stuff required for the upgrade is 50 to 60k per single upgrade chance, which might break the item. And the card, up to 8 million zenny, depending on the day. I hope, even with this basic information, I have illuminated the audience who may not have played the game just how ridiculous it was to create this one single piece of gear. And how this card is what turned me into an MMO arsehole and why I sit before the jury today. Don't worry, WoW players. Your crown is not at risk. I will represent you here as well. The hunt for Biss. Gear. The hunt for Biss will turn even the kindest soul into a reprehensible human being. Mike, let's go. It was a normal day, my friends. I was in my first year of university. My classes were all scheduled to be before noon. This was on purpose. I ensured that my class schedule was set in such a way where I could wake up at 8 AM, shower, eat toast, do classes, and done so I could game. The reason I need to do this is I had the worst problem in the world. I had a girlfriend. And she finished work late afternoon and would like to see me at night. Okay, to be absolutely clear. You re-rolled your school classes so you could game. Because you had to, unfortunately, painfully, be social in the evening. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Money, you wonder? Well, here's the thing. I was a political science and professional writing major. And because of residence matching, I was placed in the fine arts residence as I had requested a joint room in the dorms with a good friend of mine from high school who was majoring in film. The thing at our university was each fine arts major was required to take a full credit humanities course every year. Let's just say none of us were too keen on this. So as I never had much of an issue writing an essay and doing so rapidly, I sold my ability to write essays. That's right. I am not being egotistical here, Mike. I'm pretty sure I am responsible for one of the highest fine arts humanities first year score averages they had ever seen. Because I had to keep writing the essays differently, they weren't all matched equally on score, but I managed to get most of the fine arts class average up to 90% pass rate. And I mean, Mike, everyone. At least from my dormitory floor. I wrote something like 70 essays for hire in my first year, and often did so while Ragnarok Online was on my screen and having a few beers. I charged $60 and a 6-pack of beer for an 80% or higher quality essay. 2,500 words minimum, no worries. Hand me your course materials, ensure the beer is delivered prior, and I could crank out 2 of these per night. Mike, I say this with all pride, fucking easy game. Well, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, buddy. You gotta do what you gotta do. And if it sells, it works. You found a market. I mean, God, if I remember struggling to fill 2,500 words with, like, the history of an entire country, and now I can write 6K on a Cataclysm dungeon. All of this is to say, Mike, I had very little in my life to worry about, except that fucking BIS card. By this time in Ragnarok Online, taking us back, I had just finished eliminating the role players from the guild. From a different story. And we were getting down to business. It was time to gear up and absolutely roll some bosses over. Not just the poor tier ones like Edgar and Frioni for the people who know them. Nah. We're going after the big boys. Baphomet. Eventually. We had a nice little guild team. We had a wizard, a priest. Oh, we have got names. Oh, yeah, there is. Delilah the wizard, Whitelegs the priest, Persephone the blacksmith, Aura a DPS, and myself who was tanking. Now, this was the second knight I'd ever made. My original one-handed sword build was so bullshit in the end that I just had to re-roll. Oof, can you not respec in that game? Meaningful choices. The build was the standard one, though. I did focus on spears for the skills I saw with Pierce, and it was an absolute boss buster in those halcyon days of Ragnarok Online. Delia had asked if I could help in the Zone of Glastheim Chivalry, a very difficult endgame zone, one that as long as a wizard had Ice Wall could be AoE farmed with great danger, but massive reward like you would see maybe in Classic WoW. He was after a Whisper card and a few other items. Also, the experience was pretty good if you paired with a second wizard, and most importantly, the Zenny from the shit you could sell in Prontera on your merchant was pretty good most of the time. Now, Mike, casters are pussies. Yeah! And I hate them. I hate them so much. I hate how cowardly they are, hiding away from miles away while us melee chads are in there doing work. I hate them with a passion. Imagine the sort of loser you need to be to sit around waiting for a cast bar to fill, standing still, with the action on the other side of the room. And if you went near them, your face would explode into a mist of blood and offal. Playing a caster is absolute trash gaming. It's the worst. But Delia was a good guy. And he wanted a partner to farm. My night wasn't going to do it, so I helped out and I leveled up a wizard. He and I were online for far more than the others, so at least I get to hang out with my friend and have some bants and play a game I enjoy. Alright, not bad. Leveling a mage to a wizard is slow at first unless you have some help. Delia and Aura provided said help. They tanked the monsters that gave far too much experience for me to level on, and I could whack away with my shitty staff and eventually my equally shitty soul strikes. Yes, Ragnarok Online fam, I was making what you would call a soul strike napalm wizard. I never said I was a clever boy. Obviously that doesn't mean anything to me, or most of us who never played the game, but if you've played, maybe that makes a lot of sense as to how garbage that is. I imagine you were trying to make some sort of survival hunter before it worked. After a few days, my mage had hit 60 and had 40 to 47 or 48 job levels. It was time to change jobs. I could have dealt with the final 2 or 3 job levels prior to the job change, but it was too much effort for a character that I didn't ever want to fucking play. After job changing, which wasn't too rough, I gained my first 20-ish wizard job levels, picked up Ice Wall, and I was ready to AoE farm like a loser caster. The first day went great. No cards, but loads and loads of slotted weapons and armor from the monsters. We died a bunch, but set our respawn point, so it was fairly quick to get back. We ended up making so much money. In fact, from my share of day 1, I had made 2.5 million zenny. At this point, I could just keep this going, and eventually I could just buy my card. This was actually working out really, really well. No longer would I need to farm or do something awkward. I could just straight up cash money Scrooge McDuck my way to my victory. Day 2. A Saturday. My film major roommate is back home visiting family. Got myself some beers in the fridge. No schooling. No essays to write. There is indeed confirmed leftover pizza. I don't need to shower. Why? You know you don't just get clean for other people. Okay, that's a mistake. You were raised wrong there. You don't just shower for other people's benefit. Okay? That's not why we do it. We don't bathe, we don't clean, we don't brush our teeth for somebody else's benefit. It's for our own benefit, okay? I slapped on my underpants and it was farming time. I wanted my card by the end of that weekend. I have it all free. It's time to go. It was my plan. The day farming with Delia was fine. Wasn't nearly as lucky with drops as the day prior, but it wasn't a worthless experience. And then it happened, my friends. A dual ice wall was placed. And between the ice walls, several Rhetorics and a Wanderer and a Whisper. This was a great amount of mobs for a single trap, and we eradicated them with AoE with no danger to ourselves, but it dropped. A Redrick card. It was there on the ground. Delia and I feverishly tried to create a breach in our ice wall to get this incredibly rare item before it despawned. Your gear despawns? You AoE farm, the loot drops on the floor and it can despawn? What fucking kind of clown game is this? It just fucking... Oh my god. Just as both of us were distracted seeing our prize on the floor, and a Wanderer, a fast and powerful zombie thing, killed us both. We had forgotten the rule 1 of farming in this zone. Always, always ensure your ice walls are layered between you and the enemy and any openings in the corridors. Fuck my life. At first, we laughed about it. I mean, what could we do, right? It is what it is, gamers. Bad luck, and honestly, it was our fault. We should have been more cautious. The item, of course, would have despawned, so it is what it is. Day 2 came to an end. An okay haul. I believe after AFK vending, I ended up having around 5 million zenny on my vendor. We're getting there, gamers. We're getting there. We're getting the money we need. Day 3, though. Day 3, the dark cloud arrived on us all. As soon as the day began, Delia and I began our little journey, and less than 30 minutes into our farm, it happened again. Another Raedric card had dropped. Same issue as last time. It was stuck in our ice wall barrier. This time, we were cautious, though. We cornered off the rear of our corridor, slowly worked through the ice wall, and there it was. Delia picked up the card. Delia, fuck yes, dude. Here, I will just give you 2 million as compensation. I will just straight up give you 2 million Zenny right now. Hmm. 2 million, eh? Friendship is friendship. You know, friendship's a funny thing. Because friendships, they come and go. And this is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It really is a lot of money. Delia said no. Delia said that 2 million isn't nearly enough. Delia said, you do know I can sell this card for around 8 million. And then Delia brought up that we are here farming money for the cards that I want. We're not here farming for the card that you want. He wanted to buy a Whisper Muffler, which gave Dodge a teleport clip, giving him a teleport spell for easier farming. I don't think I barely got a sentence in before Delia just left. Delia knew that the farming, as far as they was concerned, was done. And just went straight to the city, transferred the card to his seller, and the card was sold within probably 7 minutes of it dropping. I was stunned. This was literally the only thing I wanted in the game. Delia knew that. Delia knew the entire reason that I was helping them farm their thing was to buy this card. I had re-rolled a character. I had literally leveled a fresh character in order to help them farm their thing so I could maybe get enough gold to buy this thing. What made it worse? Delia stopped responding to my messages immediately. I started sending the usual, dude, seriously? Are you doing this? No reply. Are you there? No reply. Nothing. My closest friend in the game, that I'd literally spent 2 of my IRL days with, sat in my own filth, leveling with, grinding with, had leveled a fresh character to play with, immediately just stopped responding to any message I sent. I was a bit lost, I'll be honest, and confused, so I just logged off for a bit. I was confused how Delia could just betray me like that for just a game. But I looked at it from his perspective. He had helped me level that mage to co-farm. Delia had been soloing most of the time in Ragnarok Online since we all started playing. Aura, Whitelegs, and I had been our own little team since we were novices, the starting class in Ragnarok. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it wasn't a big deal. Let's gauge the chat. Let's gauge the chat. What do you think? You know the dude's there for a drop. The drop happens. They even offer to pay you a quarter of the price. What do you do? I agree. I think it's a dickhead move. I don't know. I get a lot of happiness out of seeing someone else overwhelmingly happy. Right? That's what I get out of it. I love that. Like, example, Crusher is a mount collector. So, when I got given the fucking long boy, I just gave it to Crusher. It was like, what, 5 million gold or whatever, but I don't give a shit, and Crusher loves mounts, and it's super expensive. It's whatever, right? Man should have paid 2 million, owed another 2 million over time. It's good for any class. Yeah, half and we call it square. Half and we call it square. It sounds to me from the story that that person wouldn't have taken half either. Like, half is half and I don't want it. I think when it comes to friends and you're all helping each other out, I don't know, man. I just think you help each other out. Drops are drops. They'll happen again. I don't think it's worth losing a friendship over. I really don't. And, like, cutting someone out of your life. I logged on later in the evening after hitting the bar with some friends, and Delia was online. He whispered me. Said he felt bad. Oh no. Said he felt bad a whole thing. Felt guilty. And said he had a peace offering for me. He opened the trade window and gave me 500,000 Zeddy. Okay. He gave you a full 1/8 of his earnings, eh? Wonderful. I mean, I guess it was the thought that counts. So I asked, well, third time's the charm for the card, right? He didn't respond. Neither did he follow me to the zone again. In fact, he had gone to a different zone, to a different dungeon. Delia had the gear they needed, so why would they farm anymore? He also now had the gear, thanks to it dropping, to solo a different place. A very dangerous solo boss called Alarms. A very dangerous enemy, but one better done solo and without our stupid ice wall tactics. He'd been able to buy his teleport, which he could use to zip around the map at random if you got a little too close to an alarm. Also, Preach, can you ask the chat, does this alarm model absolutely kick ass? I mean, it looks like Final Fantasy VII, honestly. I'll show it to the stream now. He's a big clock with a roof on his head and an iron leg. He looks very cool, actually. I like the mechanical style of him. He's got some thick boy arms. Yeah, he's very neat. He's a very thick boy character. He's pretty cool. He's a chunky boy. He's a very chunky boy. I like it. It does remind me a lot of FF7 stuff. So, Mike, I helped Delia get the resources he needed to progress his character. Fine. Maybe I would have bailed on Delia had my card drop. I can't say for sure I wouldn't have. Maybe I'd be no-lifing my knight again. It's even likely that I might have actually done that should I have picked up the card. So, fair enough, I suppose. Soloing the zone this way, though, that I was having to do now was torture. By the end of my one-day solo experience, I don't think I made more than 100,000 Zenny, due to the slow progress of doing it myself. I had bad DPS and dying a ridiculous amount of times without help, so I needed a partner. So I enlisted Persephone. Now, Persephone was the nicest dude, but so fucking bad at this baby game, I don't even understand how it was possible that he managed to log in. Now, I know he was trying. I know that. I could see the effort. I began repeating the process that Delia had done with me and now just slot into that role, Persephone. We were going to get the man a Wizardol and we were going to duo this zone. Maybe this was the way of things. Maybe this was part of some sort of Ragnarok Online initiation, that one wizard passes the knowledge off to somebody else as they get their stuff and repeat and go on with the cycle. Viewed as such, it was kind of a fun lineage or a legacy that may have existed in the game, that through generations of collecting cards, it would just pass on to somebody else. Spoiler alert, no, it's not like that at all, but at least in theory it sounds quite romantic. Persephone fucked up his skill build. He misclicked several stat increases and had no feel for the game. After spending several nights helping the guy, Persephone hadn't even hit level 45. And it's not as though he had to solo. I was tanking things for him. All he had to do was whack it with a cane. Some days later, Whitelegs, Aura and I decided it was boss day. We weren't going after Baphomet or Osiris or anything like that. I still couldn't reliably tank those characters. We were going to farm Edgar a bit. Not even for items or Zenny really, just because we liked doing the boss. I am going to give you the original gangster cat jam that is Edgar. This is a boss in Ragnarok Online. This is the boss in Ragnarok Online. It is, for our audio listeners, it appears to be a very fat, fuzzy Garfield with a cup of coffee. And some sort of top hat. That's what I am seeing on my screen. And there's a chat bubble that says raw. It's baller as fuck. It's baller. It's so baller. Okay, sure. Absolutely gangster. Now, there is one item that Edgar dropped with some frequency that was worth some Zenny. A tiger's foot skin. This item sold for 1 to 2 million each, as with 5 or 6 of them, you could have a certain item called a boy's cap crafted. The item was nothing but a cosmetic, it had no stats, no armor, it just looked fucking kind of badass. Now, I can't remember if the foot skin was a drop or a boss award. boss awards go to some combo of taking and dealing certain damage to a boss. But I ended up with 3 of these items by the end of the day. Edgar was a 1 or 2 hour spawn, and we spent the entire day and evening in the zone where the big Garfield lasagna-eating motherfucker showed up. My plan, of course, like everything else, sell them off. Split the cash with the boys, because we all took part, and I was fairly close to my money goal of just buying this fucking card that I've now invested my life into. Though, I, of course, also needed to still upgrade the item, slot the item, and blah, 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 blah. Whitelegs then messages me. He's seeing these Tiger's foot skins drop. His message was, you know, I really do want that boy's cap cosmetic. Now, Whitelegs was a friend. He had been one of my right hands as a guild leader since the get-go of this game, and he already had farmed himself 2 of the footskins. I was not going to do to him what Dahlia had done to me. So in my brain, I said I will be the bigger man. Fine, I said, and I declared he could have them. 6 million zennies worth of items. I will give them to my co-guild leader and friend. About a week or so later, it dawned on me, Whitelegs wasn't wearing the boy's cap. He said after he crafted it, he didn't really like the look of it and had sold it for a huge amount of money and used that money to gear out his alt, a hunter. He was now progging the clock tower with Delilah. Now, in fairness, I hadn't been around much the week intervening, as I had essays to write for not just myself and ensure the bank account was looking healthy. But here's the thing. The reason I remember this story was due to the FF11 Horberg story that was recently on Drama Time, and I have always agreed with your stance, Mike. It was an item on his character that he helped farm the items for, and I willingly gave him. It was his call. No. This is a different scenario. This is a different scenario. No. There is a big difference before everybody helps kill a raid boss and the drops are distributed to the people who want them, than farming currency and taking a bunch of that currency that somebody else has already had allocated to them. It's more like when personal loot went out and people were rightly saying, I got the drop, I am not sharing it. Even though it is considered better to do that, it is yours. It is yours. You got it and you gave it away under false pretenses. It is very, very different if someone takes something from you under false pretenses. If I take all the materials to craft something, and I'm not saying I'm going to craft it and then sell it, and I'm not giving you any of the money, that is not the same as taking a raid drop. That's not the same. Mike, this moment changed my perspective. I was certainly no saint prior, but I always was more than willing to share in the loot, help towards the goals, and generally be a good team player. Hell, I was the guild leader, and I have always believed your guilds look to you as a leader for the tone. True, but that goes too far. I gave Zinrock, the first Zinrock drop in my guild, to a hunter, even though I was on my warrior. My guild lost respect for me after that, and I got a lot of messages saying that is just dumb. I was trying to be the guy who was like, I don't really care. I didn't super care. And do what's best for the guild, but the guild was just not happy. They were like, that is just, if you're going to do shit like that, I am not trusting you with loot. It actually caused distrust to do things like that. Something you want to be aware of. Many crazy things happened after this that were entirely my fault, but I want to take you forward. I want to go to 2005, the early days of WoW. The entire guild had transferred over to WoW in early December 2004 after initial release. I was playing a prot warrior called Bulwark. Whitelegs, Persephone, Orin, you still played with Delia, and I were running Scarlet Monastery. Our target? Herod. This was Scarlet Armory, I believe. Correct. On the first run, guess what dropped? The axe. Oh, yes. We had witnessed someone using this ludicrous item around this time, and we wanted it. Now, Delia was playing a two-handed arms warrior. Naturally, in our fair group, it would go to him, yes? Go and fuck yourself was what my brain said. I don't think I've ever, Mike, ever clicked something as hard or as fast as I clicked need on that fucking axe. As soon as it dropped and I heard their happiness on comms, I remembered that fucking card. I remembered those fucking footskins. I remembered the fairly cheap immune Monto I had to pass soon after that that's not in this story. And I swear to you, the God Almighty above, the heavens that sky that shine above, the world in my brain said one word that will definitely resonate with your chat, and that word is chaos. I rolled a 99. The drama was magnificent. I relished in it. I wish I didn't, because I'm not that person, but I did. I did. It wasn't an item I was even really going to use. We were leveling through dungeons. It wasn't fair. I wasn't going to do anything with it. It doesn't matter, because it's mine. It's mine now. If they want me to, I'll go and respec into arms right now and use it. Depriving them of their tank, wouldn't that make them sad? I would have a wonderful day leveling all on my own with my big shiny axe out in the open world, and they can go about their days and do whatever the hell they want. I felt like a king. However, this did end the guild, effectively. Oh, they couldn't take it. Wah! 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 Delilah legit never spoke to me again after this, even when I gave a peace offering of 2 gold, similar to what they gave. That's fucking gangster, by the way. Oh, you're pissed off about it? I feel bad about it too. Here, let me give you a peace offering. All the while, just like... let me drink in your tears. No big dramatic scenes, no back talk. He just slowly faded away. Aura did the same. Whiteleg straight up called me out on the roll and left the guild immediately. Oh, really? Wasn't Whitelegs the one who took the footskins? Go fuck yourself. Persephone did stick around, but more importantly, most of the players that weren't Persephone left. They called me a ninja. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. That was the first time, though, I quit WoW. As it turns out, playing MMOs without your mates... Yeah, but that doesn't... Yeah, I get it. MMOs just aren't that fun. That does not mean you need to be a fucking rug to be walked on. Right? They expect... There's the reality of it. They expected you to hand it over. But they would not do that for you. Fuck off. They wouldn't do it for you, but they fucking expected. Every single one of those people there who left immediately and got pissy with you fucking expected you to hand it over. Why? Because you're a nice guy. And that's the kind of thing you do. They can take from you, but they will not give you anything. They will just take. They will just take. They always like... You know why they liked playing with you? Because they would have 2 chances of getting what they wanted. Playing with you is really good because you're a nice guy. And they can take from you. And they will give you everything back. That's why. That's why. They always liked playing with you until that fucking streak ran out, didn't they? How quickly they turned when that take attitude stopped. Very quickly. Immediately. Fuck them. It was the first time I quit WoW. Now, I had learned this in a previous... in the previous expansions, I may or may not have caused in the later days of... F? Oh, we'll lose it. Chris, are you uploading something? Chris is off. We're effing hardcore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely off.
Yeah, my PC is like straight up turned off.
Huh. That's really weird timing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's the last paragraph of the story anyway. I'm going to push through. I'm going to push through, and it'll be on the local recording. Oh, we haven't got a local recording, have we? F. Come back to me. Something's syncing somewhere. We don't have this unless we're syncing. What is it? Nope. We're good? Okay, let me push through. My guild died in a whimper. No fireworks. There wasn't much in the way of talk. In fact, Whitelegs and I regularly chat on Messenger about miniature wargaming. Still, to this day, more than 20 years later. I'm not asking for judgment from the chat. I know I'm guilty of a few things. Being naive, yes. Being petty, not really. But I always think back on those days with a smile. What a shit show it was. And those shit shows make us who we are. MMO gamers. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of drama time in the midst of our little F session there. I'm sorry about that. But reminder, tomorrow, 27 hours from now, PreachCon 2024 tickets will be on sale. We'll be live. We'll be here. It will be awesome. I can't wait to meet you guys and see you guys again. New friends and old friends alike. It should be tremendous. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We'll be good. Bye, everybody.